The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
The Cryptid Files is a weekly discussion and debate covering all things cryptid. Mysterious and terrifying creatures are our passion. Join us each week as we bring you groundbreaking interviews and accounts, info from research in the field, as well as data and experiences of our own. From the widely known cryptids to the most strange and obscure, we want to believe. Do you?
According to legend, the Goatman is a half-goat, half-man creature.
Legend
has it that the Goatman attacks cars with an axe and roams the back roads of Beltsville, Maryland. A variation of the legend tells of the Goatman as an old hermit that lives in the woods near Fletchertown Road. Many of the Goatman sightings occur in Louisiana, Maryland, and Texas. The Goatman legends began a long time ago and were further popularized in 1971 when the death of a dog was blamed on the Goatman by a local resident. But the stories always seemed to float around, kept alive by bored teenagers, repeating the same stories over and over again, and suggesting that the creature attacks couples frequently near Fletchertown Road.
And welcome to the Cryptid Files. Sorry, being a little funny there.
Welcome, everybody.
All right.
Hope y'all had a great week. An awesome week. Everybody's not quarantined anymore.
Well, I guess that would... God, that would depend on
who you are and where you are.
That's right. Oh, God.
It's all good. We got this.
Yeah.
Maybe. We do have some really exciting news.
We do?
Yeah, we do. Tonight, after the show, we're going cryptid hunting.
Cryptid hunting.
Cryptid hunting. In a new area.
Yes.
We debated on what to call this area.
We were going to call it 1.5.
Area 1.5. Then we realized how stupid that was.
What's up, Matt?
We realized just how stupid Area 1.5 sounds.
Yeah. So we decided to call it 3.
We decided it's in between 1 and 2, and we're going to call it 3. And we don't care if it makes sense or not. So, Area 3. So, we had a real interesting day today.
We did.
I'm just so excited.
I don't remember. I don't know why.
Remember. It was a lot of fun. We've been doing some research on some history in the area. And today we decided to take a little drive up the street.
That's right.
To a place.
Well, up the street down here is like 20 minutes.
Yeah, up the road a ways. A minute. Just up yonder.
Down yonder.
Up yonder.
Whatever.
So we went up yonder and...
Depends on which way you're looking.
There's a church. There's a settlement that was here a long time ago. It's Civil War time.
It was up there.
And so we went over to this church because it's been there since then. And, oh my gosh, y'all.
It's been there since 1886 and was moved from a one location to that location.
And it's on top of a hill. It's just right on top of a mountain. And the graveyard just slopes down. It's the prettiest thing. And I actually put a picture of it on Facebook. I think I did. I think I posted. But it's really cool. We went there. It's called Stanley Church.
Stanley Church of Christ.
Yeah. And it's been there a long time. And you know what? The family keeps this place. They keep it up. The entire Stanley family has been passed down for generations. And they all assist in keeping the church in the condition it's in. I think those pews must be, I'm not sure if they're original, but they are old. Did you see the pews?
Yep. Pew.
So when we got up there just to kind of look around the cemetery,
But I just want to throw one thing out there.
You have to throw this
They
out.
are very Yankee friendly.
They were Union sympathizers, the
Yes,
Stanleys,
they were
and they had an
Union
entire settlement.
sympathizers.
In fact, they owned 10,000 acres a long time ago.
Is that Black Dragons Radio?
So yeah, they were Union sympathizers. They were anti-Confederate.
Yes, they
guys.
were. Yeehaw!
So when we got up there and we were walking around, we did see a truck up there. It was just a truck.
This is funny.
And I was taking some pictures at the front of the church, and this gentleman walks out. And I introduce myself, and we start talking. His name's Ralph Stanley.
What's up, Ralph?
Oh, my goodness gracious. We love you. That's, you know what?
The funniest guy I ever met.
I love old Southern folk. They are the best people. They just warm your heart. And I sat and talked with him for a good 20 minutes.
At least.
And, oh, my goodness, he had so many stories.
Let me tell you about the old timers down here, though, because I'm not used to it too much. Down here in Georgia, if an old timer's talking to you, the stories that come out are awesome.
Amazing. And you listen.
Thank you.
And it's the coolest thing, guys, because these are just stories that a lot of them were of his great grandfather, who was the first man to actually be buried in that area, in that cemetery. He started the cemetery. His great grandfather did.
Also, there was no joke now. No joke. There is also a guy's arm buried in the cemetery.
Mr. Buell
Yes.
Stanley. He was known as the crazy man, the crazy Stanley.
He was fishing with dynamite.
He
Blew
was
his arm
dynamite
off.
fishing, and he said he threw it with his good arm. He just didn't throw it quick enough. So they actually took his arm, and they had a funeral for his arm, and
they
it's
did.
buried there today.
Yes,
still.
they did. It is still there.
Crazy Uncle Buell. What are you going to do? But the two men who died first were it's Elisha and
The first headstone was Elijah and his wife.
yeah, but there's a man, two
elves.
men, elves and Elisha. They were the first men to die. It was they were
LDS.
killed by Confederate soldiers because they were Union sympathizers. There's a little bit of story I'm digging in on that one, so we'll figure it out. But so they were killed by these Confederate soldiers one night, and actually, Ralph's
Damn
grandfather actually watched his dad get shot. His dad and uncle get shot and die right in front of him. And so the women were a little bit scared. So under the cover of night, they took both the bodies. They got an old corn box they used to store corn in. And they took that old corn box and they buried them both. They put them in the corn box and buried them both, one on top of the other. Mr. Ralph looked at me and said, I'll tell you what, though. I sure wouldn't have want to be the one on the bottom. So he was adorable.
Oh, yeah.
And oh my gosh, I can't say enough.
And then he was sitting there. He goes, "Yeah, that's my headstone over there."
He was
goes,
serious.
"But I got to take it back." And we're like, "Why?" He goes, "Because they forgot to put the date I died on there." And I'm like, you know what? That wouldn't be the first time this has happened to us.
He was adorable, and I just hope we can go back.
Oh, we're gonna go back. Ralph is awesome,
oh
dude.
my gosh, they are the sweetest people, and I mean, it just fills your heart just seeing these folks. And this man was 88, and he told me that
88
a
years
friend of
old.
his told him, he said, "You don't look 88 at all." He said, "Well, thank you." He said, "No, you look like you're 98."
I was feeling good there for a
He
minute.
was feeling good for a minute. He was wonderful, and the place was wonderful. We got to see where Buell's arm was buried. We got to see where there
Highlight of
were.
our day.
We got to see where his grandfather, his great grandfather, and great uncle were buried, and a lot of his family. There were a lot of Stanleys there. So it was a really fun thing. It was interesting for the kids, I think.
Yep. They just wanted to roll down the hill, but I kept telling them no.
But it was
Not with Ralph,
good.
yeah.
No, it was cool for them, and I think it was nice for Mr. Ralph too.
It was pretty cool.
It was a really cool thing. I thought it was really amazing, and I'm posting pictures. I'll post them on the Unexplained Paranormal Georgia page as well. So,
But-
just want to let you know that.
But tonight, we're going to be talking about the infamous Goatman.
That was the weakest goat sound I've ever heard.
I can do this one if you want. He just sounds angry on that one.
That was better. So, we are going to be talking about the Goatman tonight.
So there's a few places that Goatman. Let's do my little spiel in the beginning if I can get this computer to work. Come on, open up. All right, so insert Jeopardy music. All right. So there's several different places that the Goatman comes from. One is Maryland. Another is Lake Worth in Texas. Pope Lick in Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky.
And then there's the old Alton
Bridge or Alton Bridge, either one. In Texas as well.
In Texas as well. Okay. So we're going to start with Maryland because I got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But so you heard the story in the beginning. According to urban legend, Goatman is an axe-wielding, half animal, half man creature. You know, you heard that story right in the intro there. But according to University of Maryland folklorist Barry Pearson, the Goatman legend began long, long, long ago, and were further popularized in 1971 when the death of the, you heard all that stuff.
That's a lot of longs.
Yeah, that's a long. It's
longs.
Yeah, it's just about as old as I am.
Whatever.
So, and a lot of this stuff takes place on Fletchertown Road in Maryland.
That's in between Bowie and
Beltersville,
I think.
Beltersville. Beltsville and
There
Bowie, which is they're about 10 minutes as the bird flies from each other, and then there's a main route that runs right in between the both
highway
of them.
right in between.
Yeah.
A lot of woods.
Yes.
You know them cryptids, they like hanging out in the
Oh
woods.
yeah, I don't know why.
Am I a cryptid?
If you are, I am.
I mean, I'm okay with that. We're an undiscovered creature.
I'll be the Blue Ridge John.
John the Jaunter.
John the Jaunter.
The Blue Ridge Jaunter.
So in Lake Worth, Texas, reports of sightings by local citizens of a half-man, half-goat with fur and scales in July of 1969 led to the belief that the mysterious creature lived in Lake Worth. Newspaper reported the alleged sightings include one in which the monster landed on a man's car after jumping out of a tree, and another in which it threw an automobile tire at a group of people. Newspaper also published a photograph purportedly of the creature, and locals began driving out to the lake at night to get a look. Typical white people, just like me, I would do the same thing.
That's right.
Local police investigated the claims, but found no evidence of the monster in the Lake Worth and Greer Island area.
Yeah, it's supposed to be that he actually resides out in Greer Island, which is out in the middle of Lake Worth. It's near Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah. So, and then it goes on to say, 4 decades later, many include Alan Plaster, who took the supposed photograph of the creature, suspected that it was a hoax. Reports of the monster ceased when school resumed, which suggests that the incidents were pranks carried out by high school students. In 2005, a reporter of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram received an anonymous letter from someone claiming to be one of the 3 high school classmates who, in the summer of 1969, decided to go out to Lake Worth and scare people using a tinfoil mask. In 2009, Fort Worth, Texas magazine published a report about an unidentified man who has said that he had been the proprietor of the tire throwing incident. I don't know why people misspell things, but that's okay. So let's take a look at Pope Lick. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So the Pope Lick, numerous urban legends exist about the creature's origins and methods it employs to claim its victims. According to some of the accounts, the creature uses hypnosis or voice mimicry to lure trespassers onto the trestle to meet their deaths before an oncoming train. Other stories claim the monster jumps down from the trestle onto the roof of cars passing beneath it. Yet another legend tells that it attacks its victims with a blood-stained axe, and that the very sight of the creature is so unsettling that those who see it will, while walking across the high trestle, are driven to leap off. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I don't care if I see a creature, a critter, or whatever that scares the absolute bejesus out of me, I'm not jumping off. I'm running back the same way I came in.
But what if he like mesmerizes you, hypnotizes you?
That's if
Because
he
that's
was
what
real,
some people
though.
claim. They claim when you go up, when you're in Louisville, you climb up the trestle, that you go up and over the trestle, and then the Goatman will appear.
You know, I tried to get hypnotized once to quit smoking.
Yeah.
See what that got me?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is I can't be hypnotized.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I can or not. I've never tried. I like to try though. It'd be cool. We could do it on the show. We could do it on the show. We can do one of the hypnosis things on YouTube, and we can try to hypnotize me and see if it works. You can make me out like Bigfoot.
Other legends hold the monster as a human-goat hybrid. And, and that it was a circus freak who vowed revenge after being mistreated. In one version, it is said, get out of here, cat.
What the heck?
It is said that the monster escaped after a train derailed on the trestle. Another version, commonly told by locals of the area, claims that the monster is really the twisted reincarnated form of a former farmer who sacrificed goats in exchange for satanic powers.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Do it.
He sacrificed all these goats, and then he signed his soul over to Satan.
I don't want to know what he did before that. I just hope it didn't involve a cliff.
We don't.
I'm just saying. All right.
Who knows?
The legends have turned the area into a site of legend tripping. Mm-hmm. There have been a number of deaths and accidents at the trestle since its construction, despite the presence of 8-foot fence to keep thrill seekers out.
Yeah, it's private property.
Yeah. Well, most train tracks are. You can't go on there.
Yeah.
You know,
here's the thing.
Train company owns them.
The trestle's been there since 1800, so
Right.
People are stupid.
Yeah. I will admit there's quite a few human beings that are really dumb.
And then you have
I'm
something
not
like
perfect,
that.
though, by the way.
You have something like that. Okay, people are going to be dumb anyway and try to climb it and try to walk across it just because we're just idiots like that. And then you add the lore of a legend such as the Goatman to the equation.
Right.
And then the possibility that you can become hypnotized or mesmerized by this creature.
Right.
I mean, you put those three things together, you have a trifecta of death, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Well, so,
Yes.
I mean, you can't be surprised, really. And it's possible that this legend came about because people were dying on the
Right.
trestle. But there are accounts, that we'll get into in a little bit when we're talking about that, of, the different sites and what went on, what has gone on at different places. But, they don't really, the Poplick monster, you can't really find very many accounts.
No.
Of actual, I do know of a couple, but we'll save those for in a few minutes.
Right.
Have you gone over all four?
Not yet. I'm on Poplick right now. I think I
Okay.
got one more left.
Yeah, you got Alton.
There is continuing on the Poplick, there is a common misconception that the trestle is abandoned and no longer used. In reality, the bridge carries a major rail artery into Louisville. Heavy freight trains cross the bridge several times daily, so it is easy for someone to get caught on top. On top of it, while an oncoming train barrels down on them. Norfolk Southern Railway urged citizens not to climb the trestle, do you think? Saying if caught, they would be arrested. And I hope so, because it's trespassing.
Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they can do, they can try their best to deter people, but you have people that are just going to do it anyway.
Right, this is true.
They want to have a Stand By Me moment.
Oh, I remember that movie.
I love that movie.
The leeches. Remember that?
I love it. I know. The whole thing's great. The Puke Fest.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. Stephen King knows what he's doing.
So, on to the Alton Bridge.
Yes, the old Alton Bridge of, it is Denton, Texas.
It is cities of Denton and Copper Canyon.
Yeah, the bridge itself connected Denton to Copper Canyon back in the day when they built it in the 1800s. It was a steel company called King Steel Company that
Yeah, it was a King Iron Bridge manufacturer.
Yeah, that's what it was, King Iron. And they constructed the bridge in the 1800s.
At the time,
1884?
it originally carried horses and later automobiles over Hickory Creek.
Oh, Hickory Creek. So you have to wonder, How did the Goatman become involved?
I don't know. I guess I'm going to scroll down just a little bit, and it talks about Goatman's Bridge.
Yes, it does.
And well, I'm sure we've all seen Zach Bagans do his fakeness. I mean, his show on the Goatman Bridge. I keep stumbling over my words.
This is what I'm having trouble with right now. I'm having trouble with whether or not we should even read the legend connected to this one.
Why is that?
Because it's completely false.
Oh.
And it is
So
actually...
you mean to tell me that whatever they did on Ghost Adventures was not right?
Big shocker, huh?
Oh my God, I never would have thought of it.
You heard it here, folks. I have it under great authority. In fact, I know for a fact that the legend, and you can scroll down and we'll look at the legend. It's a man named Oscar Washburn, and he was an African-American man who lived around the area that was Denton and Copper Canyon. He did not live near the bridge.
And they also go to say that he was a very dependable and honest businessman.
Very nice man. He was, well, that's what the legend says. He was a very nice man, raised goats, and he did it very well, and everybody loved him.
Yep.
Well, in actuality, and you can go and look it up on crime reports, death reports, what have you. It says that the KKK came through. They were angry at him because of his success selling goats, and he had a sign placed on the bridge saying "Goatman this way," basically.
Yep.
And so they followed it in the dead of night. They turned their car lights off. They drove down into his house. They pulled him out of the house, beat him, took him back to the bridge, and hung him over the side. They hanged him, but when they looked up, his body was gone. This is completely false. The man died 5 years ahead, I believe, of what the report says. Ooh. And he died because his brother-in-law shot him to death for beating his sister.
Oh.
That's what the man died for. So,
well, we're not going to have any protesting on this radio show. So
it's not even about that. It's not even. It's about the fact that some of these legends you have to watch, and this legend is completely untrue. So, it leads you to wonder, how did the Goatman become attached to this area? Here's my theory.
It's probably just like I always say about every legend. It's just to keep the little kids in at night.
But here's my theory, and these are theories that, we've talked about before.
Yeah.
My theory with the Goatman's Bridge is this. People hearing the legend over a long period of time, decades and decades, have gone out there decades and decades, and they have done rituals, just like they did on, what is that show?
Ghost,
Spirit
Endeavors,
whatever it is. Anyway,
Kindred Spirits?
No, not that one.
Right.
So then,
I was going to say,
my thinking in this is if you put energy into something like that,
anything.
I mean, you have evil forces.
Yeah, what you put into something, you're going to get out of it.
Well, don't you think they're going to be able to appear to scare the living bejesus out of you, however they can?
If it was me, I would say that I would most likely probably hang out and wait to see if any people came and just jump out of the bushes and scare the crap out of them.
Well, now it's kind of it's not like the area over Alton Bridge is not well traveled. Hundreds of people go over this a day. It's a walking trail now, a public walking trail. So hundreds of people are back and forth on this bridge all day long. So whatever you saw on TV, it's a very well traveled place.
Right.
It's not out in the middle of nowhere. It's surrounded by woods. It's not as rural as it used to be.
Right.
So my thinking is maybe this is not a cryptid type thing at all. Maybe it is something paranormal, and it has been called up because people keep going there and doing stupid stuff.
Right.
That's a theory. But before we put out that legend, I really wanted... I felt like we needed to kind of do it justice and not put out something that we know is not a true statement. And I know that's not a true statement. So
do you still want me to go ahead and read it anyway?
I mean, you can read it anyway. We'll read what everybody else knows about Goatman's Bridge.
All right, so
let's do it.
This is, as it stands right now, what people know. Goatman's Bridge. Locally, the bridge is known as Goatman's Bridge due to a legendary demonic satyr. of the same name who is popularly believed to inhabit the forest surrounding the area. Alternatively, legend tells of a black goat farmer who moved his family to a residence just north of the bridge. A few years later, Oscar Washburn was known as a dependable and honest businessman, and North Texans endearingly began to call him the Goatman. But the success of a black man was still unwelcome to many, and Klansmen in the local government turned to violence after he displayed a sign on the Alton Bridge. This way to Goatman's. In August 1938, the Klansmen crossed the bridge, kidnapped Washburn from his family. They hung a noose on Old Alton Bridge, and after securing it around his neck, threw him over the side. When they looked down to see if he had died, the noose was empty. In a panic, they returned to his family's home and slaughtered his wife and children. Locals warn that if you cross the bridge at night without headlights, you will be met on the other side by the Goatman. Ghostly figures and strange lights are said to appear in the surrounding woods, as well as reports of visitors being touched, grabbed, and having rocks thrown at them. The legend results in the area around Old Alton Bridge being popular among paranormal investigators, such as the crews from Ghost Something
Or the other.
BuzzFeed Unsolved Supernatural.
I'm kind of disappointed.
Yeah, me too.
I'm kind of disappointed because these are 3 very well-known shows, and either A, they did not do their research well enough to check into these legends, or this legend in particular, or B, they knew it and just decided to forego it for ratings. So, yeah, I get that it's a TV show, you need ratings, but still, that's
right.
That's putting something out there that's just not true. And to me, I take offense to that. That's something to me that bugs me.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of my pet peeves. So,
right.
Just wanted to clarify that for you guys on this one because I thought that was important. But still in all, there are things that happen over at Alton Bridge. You cannot drive across it anymore. It is a walking trail. You can only walk it. And people do have the sensation of feeling like they're, off kilter, or that they're dizzy, not feeling well, sick, in a daze, in a trance, having things thrown on them, things like that. So, I've never been.
No, neither have I. I mean, it would be just interesting just to go there, just to say I've been
there.
There
have been some drownings off the bridge. There have been people who've fallen off or jumped off the bridge and died. So, I mean, any place like that, where there's been any sort of tragedy, which bridges seem to, I think that's maybe why there's so much lore and legend around a bridges, because bridges seem to kind of attract that kind of thing.
Yeah.
People falling off, people
I
jumping
wonder if
off,
there's
people
any
throwing people
trolls
off.
for these Goatmen.
Oh, any Pukwudgies.
Well, I mean, what is it? The Billy Goat's Gruff? Is that
Yeah,
what
the
it
Billy
is?
Goat's Gruff.
When they try to cross the bridge.
Wow, the Goatman goes across the bridge.
Yeah.
And the Pukwudgies underneath.
There's got to be some trolls under there somewhere.
Got to be.
Yeah.
That's an interesting story, but that's kind of upsetting.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, but I digress.
Yeah, so I mean, not everything you read on Google is true. Unfortunately, so you can't always take it. I use Wikipedia when I do my shows and when we talk about things and stuff like that. So when I read them, I'm only reading what I see, and I don't know the 100% facts. These are just my quick notes that I kind of go by. So,
and I tend to kind of dig around and look in odd, obscure places.
When I was showing her, when we getting ready for the show, Alton Bridge and everything else, and she turned around, she goes, this legend right here is actually false. I found this. I was like, holy cow! Well, she can't go by everything that you see.
No, you can't. You got to do some simple stuff. If you look at simple stuff, then you'll, you can figure it out. But that one's interesting. And even so, there are still Goatmen in Texas. So there is another legend that's pretty popular, and it is the Lake Worth monster. And that is near, actually near Fort Worth. It is near Fort Worth. And it's Lake Worth, and there is an island in the middle of Lake Worth called Greer Island. And it is said that that is where the Goatman resides. Now, this Goatman, to me, is much more intimidating and scary. He does not wield an axe, per se, but he is very intimidating, as the story goes. And it was in 1969 when he appeared or made his debut. I think it was a little bit before that, though, that there was a gentleman who lived in the area who was hunting with a friend and actually saw this Goatman thing. And they actually snapped a picture of it, so they say, the legend says.
Yeah.
But the weird thing in this one is that there was a man a few years ago. It was early 2000s.
Yep.
Maybe 1999, who said that he saw several of them out on his property and that they never bothered him, so he wasn't going to bother them, right?
I don't mean to cut you off, but is it any way possible that maybe Bigfoot could grow horns?
It is actually something that people look at, because there are other places where they say, and actually some of them are in like the Appalachia area, or the Appalachia area is where we call it. Appalachia, which is up, West Virginia, Tennessee, all that stuff, Kentucky, where some Bigfoots have horns, 2 spiked horns protruding.
Right. Well, I guess that would kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Well, some people say, they wonder, is it something the Bigfoot wears to kind of show some sort of status or standing? Like, do they make these things and wear them to, like, I'm the boss, I'm the big guy, or is it something that they've grown, which is really weird?
I think it would come with their age. Probably.
I mean, maybe it's really strange. It's just strange, but you know what though? You think about it this way. Are there
she's
not?
Hitting me over here.
I'm tapping his arm.
No, she's like hitting me with a pistol upside the head.
Are there not humans who have grown horns?
I'm not going to make any comments
there
on that.
There are. It is actually a thing. They have like bony
They're just
protrusions.
extra horny.
That's where you're going. But they have bony protrusions coming out of their forehead. Maybe it is the case of that. I don't know, because we know so little about these.
Look,
beings.
There's so many other things. Look, there's people with blue skin.
I know.
Things happen. My son was born with a deformity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was born with a cleft lip and palate. It's since been repaired. He's 13 years old now and looks awesome. Thank you, Boston Children's Hospital. And he, so I would assume that why not? I mean, look at some deer, for example, with an extra set of legs.
Yep. I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah, anything is possible.
Anything's possible, but it's really interesting to think about and to maybe connect those 2 things. Something's seen. Yeah. There's something. We just, and the reports vary, of course, from place to place. And we're focusing on 4 different areas where this thing has popped up, but it's popped up all over the world.
So we got Texas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland.
There are reports in Alabama, in Virginia.
Know that one you're going to look up in Georgia is not actually a goat man. That's just a nickname.
It's a man that likes goats. A man that's. It's the goat man. You just can't look it up. It's got a space in between, but it is reported all over the place, and the reports of what it looks like do vary.
Yes. And
the reports of what they do vary, but the consensus with all of these things are. They are not friendly.
None of them are friendly.
No, they're not friendly. They have hostile or evil intentions.
Yes.
But then again, when you look at it, there's a lot of correlation between Satanism and goats, things of that nature. as symbolism as well.
Yeah.
Black Phillip, things like that. So, and, old reports, old drawings, old renderings of Satan himself.
Yeah.
Partial goat looking,
Right.
with cloven hooves and bifurcated tails and all these odd things. And scales. So, scales. The one in Lake Worth, the Lake Worth monster, is said to have scales and burns all over his body.
Well, I mean, burned skin could look scaly.
It could. Or scaly skin could look burned.
I'm sure.
I don't know.
No
So, and he's 7 feet tall, a very imposing 350-pound creature who's very strong
That's
and
pretty
angry.
lean for 7 foot tall.
It is.
Yeah.
But then again, he's got goat legs. What do you expect? But they let out a horrible screechy sound. And that is something, yes. And that is something that is actually synonymous to every encounter.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is that people hear this stuff in the woods and say, oh my God, it's the Goatman, But really, we don't know what we're dealing with here.
No, we don't.
And we're only scratching the surface. But, Texas has more sightings than just that.
All right. I'm going to take a break, go refill my coffee. So in the meantime, enjoy some music. We'll be right back.
Never backing down. Baby, I'm a soldier, standing my ground. So if you're gonna find me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a tiger, 27. Baby, I'm a rifle, one bite you're dead. So if you're gonna find me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars.
What can I say any more than desire? More than just a pretty face. So girl, you better walk away. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Only one love up beside of the fire. Someone who can handle me. Someone cut your heart too deep. Oh yeah, oh yeah. If you try to come closer, I'ma give you some closure. Before you know it, it's over. So run away, run away. I'm not trying to hurt you, but I will if I have to. I'ma tell you what I do. Run away, run away. Baby, I'm a fighter, never backing down. Baby, I'm a soldier, standing my ground. So if you're gonna find me for my heart, all you're gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a tiger, 20 steps ahead. Baby, I'm a rifle, one bite to dead. So if you're gonna find me for my heart, all you're gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a fighter, never backing down. Baby, I'm a soldier, standing my ground. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you're gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a tiger, 20 steps ahead. Baby, I'm a rifle, one bite you dead. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you're gonna get is battle scars. What can I do? Gotta keep every heart safe, so we make it out alive. I don't wanna waste no time. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Try to play nice so I won't give you heartache. Trust me, baby, when I say, girl, you better walk away. Oh yeah, oh yeah. If you try to come closer, I'ma give you some closure. Before you know it, it's over. So run away, run away. I'm not trying to hurt you, but I will if I have to. I'ma tell you what I do. Run away, run away. Baby, I'm a fighter, never backing down. Baby, I'm a soldier, standing my ground. So if you're gonna find me for my heart, all you're gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a tiger, 20 steps ahead. Baby, I'm a rifle, one bite to dead. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you're gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a fighter, never backing down. Baby, I'm a soldier, standing my ground. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you're gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a tiger, 20 steps ahead. Baby, I'm a rifle, one bite you dead. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you're gonna get is battle scars.
And welcome back.
Welcome, welcome.
What is going on in Chatland?
We need more people to talk to us.
Yes.
We love it when chat's popping.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's good times.
You know, I think we haven't thrown our email address out there lately, but if there's ever a story that you may have, somebody has that you know, whatever the case is, it doesn't even have to be your story. It could be something you heard and you want to talk about it on our show, have it read out loud. You can even join us, too, if you ever haven't had an experience or whatever. We can set that up and take care of it.
Yes.
But if there's ever a story you want us to read or look into and have it talked about on air, you can email us at gacryptocrew@gmail.com. It's gacrypto@gmail.com.
Yes. Yeah, and we would love to hear from you guys.
Definitely.
We want stories.
Yes, we like stories. We like
We
digging.
do. We do.
I mean, that's what we're doing tonight. As soon as we end here, we're gathering up some more equipment. You know, some of you paranormal investigators out there. I know Matt. Matt's was a big cryptid guy at first,
Yes.
and turned to the dark side and went to the paranormal. Now, here's just a theory. Well, more of a hypothesis right now. So let's talk about our recent camping.
Let's do it.
That we just did down in Caches Valley area. We decided, let's fool around with the spirit box and see if we can get some old moonshiners or some Confederate soldiers in here and talk to these guys, right? Dude, when you know nothing. I even said I was from Massachusetts, from the 54th Regiment, from infantry, blah, 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 blah.
And this is a primitive camping
Yeah.
area. Well, it's not even camping. We were camping.
We were right next to a natural power source. They had
Yes.
all the power in the world. Not one damn Confederate soldier or moonshiner was out there.
They weren't.
None.
But
Cindy turned around and said, hey, I want to try something.
because you know me.
I'm like, all right, go ahead. I'm all for experimenting, by the way. All for it.
I had this idea. I had this grand idea.
So why don't you go ahead and tell them?
Well, see, here's my idea because I'm
I'll
always...
grab my coffee. I'll be right back.
For those of you who don't know, and if you listen to the show at all, you probably do know at this point that there's something always in the back of my mind, and that's Bigfoot. He's always there, no matter what. So, we're paranormal investigating. We're using this... We're not really. We're just camping and goofing off. But so we're using the spirit box, and I'm like, hang on, I want to try something.
Tell them
And-
the spirit box that we got so
we can give them
credit for
Oh, and the spirit box is amazing. It's from
ghoststop.com,
Yes.
the S box. I love it.
this thing is great.
The thing's got all sorts of bells and whistles on it, and I thought it was going to be shit. You buy a car with all these things attached, more shit to break,
No,
right?
this thing's great, and it's
Nah, it's
sleek.
rugged.
It's sleek and rugged and small, but you can hear it. It's great. It's
You can even
clear.
use it as a Bluetooth speaker.
You
God
can.
damn.
And it records.
Yes, it
itself.
records. It acts as a voice recorder. It
And
can record your spirit box session. It's got a flashlight on it. Forward and reverse AM. You can play back on it. Bluetooth speaker. Line in, line out. Oh my God. It's where you can even put an SD card in there.
It's freaking amazeballs. So it's great. So we're using this bad boy. And by the way, it's nice and clear because some people are worried at spirit boxes. Oh, you really can't hear.
Yeah.
This thing is great. The area we were into, by the way, there's nothing out there. There's no interference.
Nothing.
You're in a holler and
No
you ain't
service
getting
on your cell
nothing.
phone. Nothing.
No service on anything. So any evidence we're getting in these places is very clean evidence, if that makes any sense.
Yes. And I always run the antenna down, by the way.
Yeah.
That's
So
just my style.
so we're getting, very raw, undisturbed stuff. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this. And I was like, have you seen Bigfoot, or is this Bigfoot? And wait a second. Me. That's what it said. I was like, yes. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm all excited.
And then she turns around and says, have you seen the hairy man? And you know what the damn thing says? Uh-huh.
It does. Uh-huh. It did. And I was like, see? I told you.
Look.
See, see, we're all excited.
You drive out of our town, you lose cell service. You drive a half mile, not even a half mile down the street.
Yeah,
there goes your
gone.
cell
It's
service.
gone.
There's nothing. They only have one radio station in Fannin County.
That's right.
One
That you can get.
that you can get.
And boy, it's
So we know the frequency. So when shit pops off on that one, we kind of know that's just Rebel Radio. Love you, by the way.
Yes, we do. But so the fact that this came through, and I mean, we could go deep into this, but I have theories about how these hairy people communicate. And I was actually saying the names that they were called, the booger, the hairy man, the Nunawee, things like that, from Native Americans and the people who lived here before, historically, and trying to connect that way. But I don't know. And this area is actually a hotbed. Yeah. So a widespread area over a long time. It's been a hotbed. But so we got this, and it's like the craziest thing ever, because I'm thinking there are so many reports that Bigfoot can, you can tell when I get excited because I talk real fast. So you like
not even captions can keep up.
No, there are reports all over the world of these hairy people being able to communicate telepathically and also using infrasound. So why would they not? Because this has been my theory for a while. Why can't they mess with paranormal equipment?
Well, what I was thinking when you said, hey, let's try this, it didn't dawn on me. Hey, Fran, what's up?
Hey, Fran.
So what I was thinking when she said this to me, good evening, I was like, well, wait a minute. Bigfoot supposedly can communicate above and below the frequencies that we as normal human
well above and well below,
but human beings can hear above and below.
Yes.
So why now? I understand what people are going to say already.
Yes.
I've already thought of it. So why couldn't they affect a spirit box?
Hey, Fran.
So I do understand that they're not transmitting on those frequencies per se through the radio. But what's to say that they couldn't? I mean, they can do just about anything else, couldn't they?
Well, why would that? Why is that out of the realm of possibility?
It's a hypothesis right now. We don't really know.
Well, I mean, we're going to test it more. But I mean, what
tonight,
a useful tool to have then, right? I mean, the applications of that as far as cryptid research would be great.
I mean, we're even tonight going to bring a Bluetooth speaker out into the woods, and I have a noise generator, and we're going to play some frequencies that humans can't hear that possibly they can. So, and we're going to see if we get any kind of reaction out of it and see what happens. It's a big old Bluetooth speaker, and we're just, it doesn't even really have to be that big out there. It would bounce off all the mountains and down the holler anyway. So we're going to see what happens.
Yeah. And this is a wildlife management area.
Yes.
So it's way out on this dirt road.
Yep.
Way out. By
just south of the Bigfoot Museum.
Yep. And it's by a check-in station.
Yep.
For the Benton McKay Trail.
Yep.
And so we're excited. I'm thrilled. We had a little adventure last night. I don't know if we want to even talk about it.
Why do I keep forgetting these adventures? Am I sleeping when they have?
Yeah. So we went to a place, an undisclosed location that we won't talk about.
Wait, hold on. My brain's hurting. Just give me a second. I remember. Hold on. It's almost there. Last night we went to...
Beep, Richie. Beep, beep.
I don't know what that means.
Beep,
I wish I did.
Beep. Beep, beep.
Roadrunner?
No.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I almost had it.
Where do we go today? Think about it.
Yeah, no. I know. All right, yeah. So we did. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay,
That's
so
good.
you remember last night. Yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We went to an undisclosed location, and it is actually a location that we went to about a week ago as well.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Fran gave us away. So anyway,
but
so
she didn't say which one.
That's right. So we were at this location,
cemetery,
and we left in a hurry. Anyway, so
dude, a whole bunch of rednecks come running down the road. Now I'm not knocking rednecks. I've actually been called one since I've been down here.
He's a redneck.
Dude, this dude in the truck, and I don't know how many dudes or girls.
That's right, Fran. We went to Walmart.
Come rolling down the dirt road in a big old diesel. You could hear it like a half mile away, and he gets right in front of the cemetery. And at first, we didn't think we'd do anything wrong until we looked up legal things and blah blah blah. And I was in there, beep, 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 beep,
And slowed down. They
beep,
slowed way down.
I was like, well, shit. We better get back to the car and get the heck on out of here, mother. You know? So we're running. She's got everything. I got nothing. I'm running with the flashlight. She drops the whole backpack.
Everything
all over the
falls
ground.
out. And I'm like, shit. So I'm shoving it back in like, we gotta go. And we go hauling ass down the hill, jump in the car like, get out
I was
here.
like this, driving down the road. Going down the road, pulling the e-brake up. And
yes, it's dark. It's a dirt road. We're winding around, you know. It was so awesome. But anyway.
Good old boy.
I know, never meaning no harm. So we actually, it's kind of weird because we've been at like, you know, in the historical spots of two warring families. Yes. Which is so freaking cool, by the way.
It is awesome, by the way.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. I can't even tell you. Yeah, it is. It is a great song.
Yes, it is.
But so we went a week before, and man, we're loud out there. I don't know why we get, you know, but we didn't know we weren't supposed to be there after dark.
Right.
We're sorry. We're very
well,
sorry.
I should have known better, but laws down here are way different than
well,
there in
I mean,
Massachusetts.
I've talked to lots. And here's the
Joel.
thing: I've talked to lots of folks that have done that and been there at night. And so, what you know, the kids are sleeping. It's the best time for us to go out. But the week before, and we still haven't gone over all the evidence. The week before, we went out there and we were recording stuff, and something actually said my name.
Yep.
Over the spirit box, and it said it in a with a southern drawl. It says Sandy.
Sandy.
So it was really cool. And I think we got more stuff too. There was a man named Frank that kept talking to us.
Yeah.
He was not there last night, I don't think. Maybe they were just, I don't know. It was really
I don't know. It was weird.
It was very strange, but
we've seen lights in there, and it was crazy.
Phantom lights, the
some
ghost
sort
lights.
of phantom light, and it was like really, really low to the ground.
Ghost lightning bugs.
And well, I mean, there are lightning bugs, but you can tell the difference. This one was more dim and kind of.
Yeah, it was, and it lasted longer. Yeah,
and
it was didn't act like
and
a
it would
lightning
get
bug.
close, but then it would back off.
It was very odd.
Yeah,
very odd. But see, the place is very mysterious. It's really cool. It's super interesting, and the whole story behind both of these places is one that I'm quickly really becoming captivated with. Mm-hmm. It's really neat. So
Fran, I know you missed it, and you're a Yankee like myself. I went today, and it was the greatest thing in the whole damn world. I went to a Union. What did you say?
Union sympathizers.
A Union sympathizers cemetery today.
Yes.
Yo, it was the greatest shit ever, man. I was like, yeah, these are my peoples. I'm out there. I'm like, yeah, these are my people.
Yeah, and we found Uncle Buell's arm.
Yep.
we found his arm. So
yes, we did.
I'm gonna.
You probably can find it on findagrave.com.
Oh, you can. They had a funeral and everything.
Yes.
We're gonna post on the paranormal page. We're gonna and also on Instagram. We'll post some. At GA Crypto Crew on Instagram. Mm-hmm. We're going to post some pictures that I did take today.
Yeah, that's some pretty good
such
pictures.
A beautiful. Oh my gosh, guys, this is such a beautiful, breathtaking place. You know, we forgot to mention that there was a boy who the man that we're speaking to, Ralph, Mr. Ralph. It was his great uncle.
12-year-old boy.
And his great uncle went and shot all the
was an
Confederate
OG.
soldiers in town.
He took
his
an OG.
gun, he snuck off in the woods, and he caught each one of them, one by one or two by
like
one.
a sniper.
2 by 2. And he shot and killed all the Confederate soldiers, 6 of them that were in the area.
Yeah.
And some that had killed his uncle, and both his uncles. So he shot and killed them. So, I mean, you know, I don't know what to say about that.
Me neither.
That is the 12-year-olds don't do stuff like that anymore.
No, but I guess dude was pissed, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, wouldn't you be?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would expect my 13-year-old son to
avenge your death.
Avenge my. Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Well, yeah, he did. I know,
Yeah,
right?
no
Fran?
Spider-Man. This be Sniper Man.
You know, and you can't help but love this whole Stanley story. Sniper Man. I thought I was because I was very Tilly. You know?
You being Tilly.
I was very Tilly-sided. And so I thought...
She is Tilly-sided. Dude, I can't say nothing about Union Yankees down here, but they love them, dude. They love Yankee boys and girls down here.
I'm telling you, we do. It's no secret.
Mm-mm.
My mama, me.
I work with a couple hybrids.
I know. See,
This is from Detroit, half Detroit and half North Carolina.
Look, we're despite what everybody thinks, we are very sweet down here, and we love Yankees.
Yeah, Tilly,
Yeah,
Tilley.
So Tilly is one family, and the Stanleys are the other, and they kind
I'll
of
spell
warred.
it in chat for you.
They were like warring factions, basically.
I don't know.
But anyway, so I was very Tilly, and I was like,
You're so Tilly.
jaded. I was kind of jaded about the Stanleys,
Yeah.
especially when I found out, they were Union sympathizers.
She'd be hating.
Even though I'm a Union sympathizer too.
Yes,
But
she
but
do you declare?
But the more I looked into the Stanley story,
Yeah.
they seem like such wonderful people. And then
Yes.
meeting Mr. Ralph today just set me right over the edge.
Well, the Stanleys were more of the maybe conservative side.
yeah, I would say
and
so.
They were more of the wealthier people.
Yeah, well, they built it themselves, so they built that settlement up, and they
what did he say? One of the Stanleys owned
10,000
10,000 acres of
is what they
Georgia.
started off with, right up here.
Yep, 10,000.
And
I say it
y'all,
again, 10,000
10,000.
acres.
And y'all, if you haven't been here, it is the most beautiful place. It's got to be one of the most beautiful places in the world.
And they still have the Stanley settlement.
They absolutely do.
Yep.
And like I said, they do the upkeep and everything on that church. That's right. That's right,
I just
Fran.
hope my boss isn't listening. You know, I don't want him to think that I'm going to organize my work. So, but yeah, go Union.
That's, well, you know, it's a really good story, and it is the history.
It is. It really is.
It's the history of this place, and I just love it. I do. And talking to that old man today, 10,000. It was 10,000.
Thousand.
Yes, Matt. So, you know what? Actually, Fran, Mr. Ralph, and he's 88, by the way, he was telling me today that there was a man a while back that wanted to tear down the church and rebuild it. And he said he would not let that man do it.
And what did he say? I'll give you $3,000.
He told him he had $3,000. And then he looked at him and said, well, that $3,000 ain't even going to pour a foundation.
Yeah.
He said, you're not tearing this church down?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And they didn't.
The
Thank
church
God.
was beautiful on the inside.
It is gorgeous on the inside and out. It is absolutely beautiful. And it's got to be one of the prettiest places. I don't know. I don't know if it's the history of it or it's all of it. It's the whole thing. It's amazing. And I'm going to post some pictures. Y'all are going to love this. So we are going to post pictures of it. And I don't know. I'm going to look into it more. I really want to look into it more and bring you guys some more of the stuff. As much as I wanted to ask Mr. Ralph about a Bigfoot, I didn't. But he did say that there was a woman who lived in a house that was down a ways the left of the church. And he said that woman, and there was a couple, they were married, and they did not like each other at all. And, yeah, I'll show you, Fran, I'll send you the pics when I'm done. But so this couple didn't like each other. The man would come home every day, and he would eat lunch. And then he would push his plate over and fall asleep on the table. Well, evidently, she got mad at him, was not happy, and she shot him. She shot him and put the gun like it was him that did it, but it wasn't him. But they used to say the kids would go out at night up on the other ridge, and they would hear her screaming at night because the ghost of her husband was haunting her.
Yeah, friend, we can show you some pictures, no problem.
We're going to send them. Okay, we should probably get back on track as interesting as this is.
Yeah.
Because we got a little bit more Goatman to cover.
Okay, what do you got?
So we're going to talk about the incident with the Lake Worth monster.
All right.
Now, we went over a little bit of how the Lake Worth monster came about.
Yeah, as far as the history goes.
Yeah, the history goes. There's not really so much a legend, almost like it's always been there, maybe. But it crops up here and there. So the one story is that this monster hangs out at Lover's Lane.
Ooh.
Which is near the lake. And we'll post a picture of the supposed photo that was taken. It's the one, if you go up, it's just this white blobby thing there.
White
This
cloud
one right here.
that
Yeah.
somebody took a picture in the
Yes.
sky.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one that the hunter took. And his daughter actually
gotta
did a whole
click on this.
movie and book on it. So
It's a cloud.
It looks very cloudy, doesn't it?
It's a cloud.
He said it was gray and white. So this thing, the first bunch of people that it terrorized was three couples actually, that were all making out in a car, right? Yeah, 3 couples, teenage couples.
Ooh.
Well, this thing dropped down from a tree onto the car.
What is it with jumping on cars?
I don't know. But it dropped down onto the car and actually tried to grab one of the women out of the car.
Hope you got insurance.
But they took off, gone, and told the cops. The cops didn't believe them. So then the next one is where there was a man out looking for this monster, and 3 guys actually, and it jumped on the hood of his Mustang. And he was driving erratically all over the place, and it did not leave his car till he ran into a tree, and then it was gone.
Oops.
So there's that. And then there was a group of 40 people. 40, not 14. 40.
40.
And they were out looking for the monster as well. And they saw it. They heard the screechy, screamy sounds. And they heard it saw it on top of a hill. And it hurled a tire 50 feet in their direction. They all jumped and ran, police officers included, and took off.
Well, all of a sudden you heard this.
You did hear that. So those are the legend of the Lake Worth monster who lives on Greer Island. And they're interesting ones. But that's the gist of it there. If we move on to the monster in Louisville, Kentucky.
Which is the Poplick?
Yeah, the Poplick monster.
Oh, wait, let's take a look.
Now, the legend that you heard actually of this is the Poplick monster is basically a sideshow freak.
Yes.
That was the only survivor of a train wreck in which the train derailed, I guess, off the bridge. And he lives in the woods, as all the Goatmen do. And he does terrorize people, but he is much more spiritual, I think, maybe, than
he's
physical.
Not really a badass.
Well, he is actually, because
freaking
he doesn't walk around with
axe.
Yeah, no, he doesn't walk around with axes or anything like that, wielding anything. He just likes to
boo.
Yeah. And he likes to hypnotize people. Very shady.
You're going to give me all your money.
And basically, he hypnotizes people to jump from the bridge, like we said. There are a couple of stories with that. There is one where a young man,
yeah,
he was 18, I think. Everything was fine. Everything was good. They had gone out to look for the Goatman before, him and his friends. And he went out one night. His mom told him not to. She had a real bad feeling.
Of course. Kid didn't listen, yeah.
Yeah, no, he didn't listen. And they snuck out, basically. He snuck out there. Mm-hmm. And he never came back.
Oops.
Yeah. They don't know how, but they did find his body at the bottom of the bridge. He was deceased. And they don't know what happened.
Well, I hope so.
Well, I sure hope he wasn't. But so they have no idea what happened. And his sister and his mom firmly believe that it was the Goatman that led him to his demise, because he was hunting the Goatman down. So don't mess with Goatman. I guess that's the moral of that story.
Yeah.
There's also a story in 2016 where a couple that was doing sort of a ghost tour around the country, going to exciting places. Yeah. They were called, what is it called? What tripping? Legend tripping?
Yeah, legend
tripping. So they were legend tripping. They were going to go, they had tickets to go to Waverly Hills to go to the tour that night. So they went and decided to check out the Legend of the Goatman first. Unfortunately, and they were in their late 20s. Unfortunately, they decided it would be a good idea to go try to hunt the Goatman down. Now, what you have to do is go to the top of the bridge and go over the bridge. You walk over the bridge and then you will see the Goatman. Yeah. Of course, they tried to walk over that bridge. As we know at this point, it is still a very active bridge and the trains do run through. They got caught in the middle of the bridge with a train coming.
Yeah.
They had 2 choices: to either run, try to outrun the train, which they could not, or to jump. Well, her husband...
At the picture.
Yeah, her husband.
That's no joke. You're dead.
Yeah, her husband was able to jump to the side and hang on for dear life. She was not fast enough. She panicked and she decided to run forward. The train hit her and she fell 88 feet to her death.
Oh, yeah, that's at least 88 feet.
She never made it to the Waverly Hills tour.
Well, don't that just suck?
Yeah, she was 28 years old.
I bet you he still went.
That's terrible.
What?
But see, there is a little bit of, these are not the only people who have died at the bridge. Well, of course you would. Of course you would.
I'm kidding.
Get that out of the way.
I'm kidding.
But so she did die, and she's not the only person who's died there. And people do say that this goat man does mesmerize people or hypnotize them.
Well, I wouldn't say it hypnotizes people. I would think that seeing something like this would put you in some sort of state of holy shit. There's this big old grass eater standing in front of me with horns.
That's true. That's
you
true.
know what I mean? Because I know for a fact I would be like, what WTF is that?
Well, the thing is that some people, there are reports out that these beings can mimic people that you know vocally. They can make sounds and call you in. They call you in by sounding like someone you know. And I've heard many reports of that actually at this point. They can also kind of get into your head and cause you to become catatonic.
Sounds like an ex-wife. What?
Ouch.
What?
So they are not, they're very, they have ulterior motives.
Like I
and
said.
they like to torment people would be the best way to put it. And but as interesting as that is, I do believe, if you ask me, that the Goatman up north has got to be the most evil of them all.
Well, considering he comes from up north, yeah. I would assume anything up north, I'm telling you, for the people that don't know, it's like hustle and bustle, go, go, go. It's not that we don't want to be friends with you. It's just we got too much shit in our mind and we got to do what we got to do. We're like laser focused like squirrels when they're looking for that. And
now out here, everybody's just kind of slow.
Yeah, they're like, well, I'm going to take this turn in about 5 more minutes of sitting here. I'm going to make sure everybody goes by first. Oh, I see a car half mile away. I got to wait.
This is how he imitates me, too.
I do declare. No, but down here is a total different story because nobody's in a rush.
No.
Not even the police. Of course, if they get a call, but if they're just driving down the street, some of them are actually really nice. Unlike up north, you don't get the, hey, how you doing today?
Yeah, no, you do down here.
Yeah,
everybody's, hey, y'all,
yes,
what you doing? Well, Fran, they seem to be inherently evil and bad.
Well, let's look at it this way. Jason Voorhees, okay, he may be a different story, but you got to think of all the people that possibly picked on Jason Voorhees, right?
Right.
And now look at all these people that are possibly picking, if not hunting them, possibly hurting them.
Maybe,
I can see why they would be mean.
Yeah, especially if they were like a sideshow.
And even
freak.
if he tried to be nice to the creature, it's just never going to happen.
But if it is a sideshow freak from this train derailment, then he wouldn't be alive anymore. If it was a real being, it would have to be a spirit.
Maybe I'm not following. How do you figure?
Because the train wreck was in the 1800s.
And
he wouldn't still be alive right now if he was just a human.
Oh, all right, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, if he was just a human, deformed.
Yeah,
human.
all right. Yeah, he would be a spirit by now.
So it would have to be a spirit by now,
unless he has Wolverine powers and he can live hundreds of years later.
Probably
no,
is not the case.
No, definitely not.
But we're going to move on to Maryland, and we're going to move on to the Maryland Goatman, which is, to me, this one's freaky. It's just really weird. This one is he's just out for blood, basically. Yeah. And they do say that the Goatman is out for blood. That they crave blood. They seek blood.
The vampires.
So this one's very I mean, he's a violent guy. So we're going to talk about him. There are reports also of goatmen in Alabama that are very much like this one. You know, they also are said to have the ability...
This is the one that terrorizes lovers.
Well, I think they kind of all terrorize lovers, but this one goes a step further.
Know, to me, it just sounds like a story to keep people from getting pregnant.
Yeah, and you'd think that, but I'll get into more with this one in just a few minutes. But like the goatman in Alabama, this one is physical and spiritually inclined, I guess. He does a lot of things physically, but also things that are like really odd. They can even be in a group of people and blend in and actually hypnotize you to where you wouldn't know that it was them.
So they could hypnotize the whole goddamn crowd,
yes.
So that way it wouldn't look strange?
There are reports of that happening, and then all of a sudden, like, wait, there were only 11 people. There were 12. Where did that other person go?
I don't buy it.
And no one knew this person.
Drugs,
reports of that.
good stuff.
So, I mean, it could be, but I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there because I've read that in a few reports. So,
yeah.
So let's talk about this creature.
All right.
This Maryland goatman.
So there are many variations on the story of the Prince George's County goatman that is nearly impossible to keep them straight. For some, he is but a lonely, angry goat. Angry goat herder who went berserk after finding his beloved goats dead due to teens tampering. To others, he is in the same family as Bigfoot, a mythical beast that roams the earth. And perhaps the most bizarre tale of them all, the Goatman is a result of a ghastly experiment at the Beltsville Research Agricultural Center, the USDA facility. I can't see that happening. Has actually been forced to deny that one.
Wow.
Just saying. Just saying. The Goatman terrorizes lover, chases teens, and decapitates dogs. Supposedly. He yells, squeals, and, yes, makes goat noises. Bad timing. He's made reported appearances all across the region. He has inspired fear and fascination for decades. But according to the historian's author and Mark Opsasnick, the former expert of the Maryland legend, there is a canonical Goatman origin story, and I'm sorry, I can't friggin' read tonight. And it begins on Fletchertown Road in Bowie.
He's so excited about later.
Yes.
Anyway.
Shut up, you. I don't want to hear it from the peanut gallery over there. The first media mention of Goatman came on October 27th, 1971 in the Bowie-based Prince George's County News. God, say that 10 times fast.
No.
In the article, writer Karen Holzer took a deep dive into the University of Maryland folklore archives. She mentions the Goatman along with the ghost and something called the Boa Man that also haunts the woods around Fletchertown Road. 2 weeks later, Holzer wrote another newspaper article with the headline, Residents Fear Goatman Lives. Dog Found Decapitated in Old Bowie. The article described the search of a family, the Edwards, for their missing puppy named Ginger. Days later, Ginger was found near Fletchertown Road, dead and headless. The article connected the deceased dog with the Goatman, saying that a group of teenage girls, including the Edwards' 16-year-old daughter, April, had heard strange noises and seen a large creature on the night the dog had disappeared. It also reported that the sightings of an animal-like creature that walks on its hind legs were increasing along Fletchertown Road. On November 30th, the Goatman got its first introduction to a large audience thanks to the Washington Post. An article headlined, A Legendary Figure Haunts Remote Prince George's Woods. Identifies the young men who found Ginger, Ray Hayden, John Hayden, and Willie Geen.
Ooh, like Ed.
Ooh, any relation?
Be awesome.
The Prince George's County Police are also quoted in the piece saying that the legend just gets passed on from generation to generation, and they have been receiving more recent calls about Goatman sightings.
Interesting.
Whatever. Grew up.
What if your last name? My name is Cindy Sneak.
Obsasnik.
My name is Obsasnik.
No, you spell them.
No,
anyways,
you spell them.
Obsasnik.
It's Obsasnik.
Grew up mere miles from Bowie in Greenbelt and remembers very clearly the first time he heard the Goatman legend. He was in 7th grade and in the back seat of his friend's older brother's car. What were you doing? We would get rides when we would act up in the back seat. We would get rides when we acted up in the back seat.
They get rides. Well, they would get rides. Like, hey, will you take me somewhere? Yeah, okay. We got a ride. Let's go. And when they'd act up in the back seat, then they'd tell them to shut the hell up or they'll dump. They would tell us to shut the hell up or they will dump us on Fletchertown Road. And they go and see if I just read ahead and I'd have my answer. Obsasnik. Shut up. Obsasnik says he became... What? Am I saying it wrong? Obsasnik. Obsasnik. Whatever. Oh God, I'm losing it. I'm just gonna keep saying it the way I know how to read it. So pound sand. Well, attending the Roosevelt High School, Obsasnik and his friends would go Goatman hunting. I can shut your microphone off, you know. In fact, searching for the monster had become a local teen obsession. Obsasnik described Goatman's parties on Fletchertown Road. I'm going to shut your microphone off. Is that you? Yep, that's you. You shut off. Now it's my turn. Obsasnik described parties on Fletchertown Road and nearby Crybaby Bridge on Lotsford Road. That sound like something out of Dazed and Confused Halloween Night 1979 was one of the craziest nights. What is the problem, Obsasnik? One of the craziest nights of my life. Obsasnik says Dr. Barry Pearson is he didn't finish. It just didn't make any sense there. Dr. Barry Pearson is a professor of folklore in the English department at the University of Maryland and was in charge of the aforementioned she just distracted me there for a second. University of Maryland Folklore Archives. Even today, he says, if I mention the Goatman on the first day of class, all the locals know exactly what I'm talking about. Since you're behaving now, I'll turn your microphone back on. Pearson thinks that the legend of Goatman was influenced by car culture in the 1960s and 70s, which gave teens the freedom to discover the world around them, and might also be tied to what students were learning about Greek culture and the half-man, half-goat god Pan in school. Certainly the newspaper accounts helped, and the goats are, kind of freaky anyways. Goats are known to be smelly and sometimes kind of charming. They're not that smelly.
A charming smelling goat.
So I guess the Goatman has to really smell. Actually, he does smell. The reports are that he smells really bad, almost coppery. Like some people even say it's like a electrical smell.
But if you're looking at them closely, especially in their eyes, they're really scary in their own way, Pearson says. In 1987, Obsasnik started writing for a strange magazine and wasted no time getting to the Goatman in 1994. He wrote what he thinks was the first thoroughly researched piece of the legend titled On the Trail of the Goatman. He would later expand the article into a chapter of his own book. He tracked down the Edwards family and the men who found Ginger. John Hayden told Obsasnik, is that right?
Yes.
All right, whatever. He and the others had seen the animal that night before it was about 6 feet tall, walked on 2 feet, and was hairy. Hayden also noted that it made a high-pitched sound like a squeal. Oh, I lost it. Upsasnik was also able to speak with April Edwards, Ginger's owner. People came here and called it folklore, and the papers made us out to be ignorant hillbillies who didn't know any better. Edwards said, but what I saw was real, and I know I'm not crazy. Whatever it was, I believed it killed my dog.
Interesting.
Mark doesn't believe the Goatmans exist. I can't believe in something until I see it in my own eyes. See, that's what I'm getting at,
familiar.
Mark. That sound.
Man, this is one heck of a...
We're almost done. Trust me. I'll wake you up when we're done. See it with my own eyes. He says he feels bad saying that because he genuinely believes that people he's talked to saw something. I mean, anything is possible in the world. He says maybe there is a half man, half animal creature out there.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
Yep.
Mr. Obsasnik.
Obsasnik.
Yeah. Sasnik.
Snasnik. Opsasnick. Obsasnik.
Yes. Obsasnik.
He's obsessed with something.
Obsessed. He's obsessed.
Obsessed.
So, I'm glad that we got a menial physical description, but still, it's just not very detailed now, is it?
Yes, Fran, I have seen goat pupils.
Yes, they are actually rectangular.
Yes, there are stories of a guy who did an experiment and backfired on him. That's one of the stories.
That is one of the stories, that it was a lab experiment and that he and his assistant were doing it. And basically, it did backfire and he got some of the, I don't know what sort of chemical
DNA
you would mix with goat DNA to make it mutate you into a half man, half goat.
I hope it was just blood.
And yeah, right. And he was very angry and he lives out in the woods. Now, he lives out at this, well, the house does not exist anymore. It was behind a school, a private school, and the kids used to dare each other jump over the fence, the fence during recess and go into the Goatman's house. And they did say that they found different things like axes, knives that were bloody, and bones in the house. The house has since been torn down due to building and construction and whatnot. But the legend is still very strongly held in the area, and he is a very angry goat man. In fact, not only did that happen, in 1987 there was a rash of murders in the area, and people were mutilated, several people, and they have no idea why, how, what. Who? And so some people equate that to the actual goat man. He's a very angry, pissed off goat man, and he is not nice, and if you come near his house, he will kill you. He's looking for blood and looking for people to eat or suck the blood from.
I didn't realize. I mean, they always said that goats ate everything.
Well, there you go.
I guess that was an understatement.
Exactly. And this goat man has the head of, it's a goat-like, dog-looking snout, and
well, yeah, but with goat nostrils.
Yeah, and with two big horns and the rectangular, because people have gotten close enough to see the rectangular pupils, because goats do have rectangular pupils. It's really weird.
Yeah, they kind of got these funny little slits on them.
Yeah, it's awesome though. I used to have a couple goats, but he does wield an axe, and he will use it. He attacks cars, he attacks people, and evidently animals as well.
I am trained in Mossberg, mofo.
So that is very frightening.
Yes it is.
The weird metallic or electronic.
Electrical
smell.
Yeah. It's kind of like that
comes
smell
with the goat man.
You smell just before a thunder and lightning
that's
storm.
exactly what people. Yeah, and they say it can range from that to like a very metallic, coppery blood smell, blood smell. So it's really weird, and that the mimicking, they can actually mimic. I've heard stories about a son and a father who were out in the woods. The dad was teaching the kids how to hunt, teaching the kid how to hunt and how to track and how to get by if you get lost in the woods. So he, at a certain age, at 12, he wanted him to go out and and start really, leave him in an area for a little while. He goes off one way, the kid goes off the other, but he's not ever too far away. Well, the little kid's out, really excited to show his dad what he can do. And he hears the dad calling him saying, come toward my voice, come toward my voice.
Immediately after he stopped.
Yeah. And he's like, he didn't want to answer him because he's like, I really want him to be proud of me. So he waits for a minute, and the dad gets more insistent. So he's like, okay. And he starts to walk toward his voice. Well, all of a sudden his dad breaks out of the bushes, like haul and tail, grabs him, and they run. And he tells him, run, just run. Don't look, just run. Well, the kid makes a mistake looking back, and that's when he sees this goat thing, and it's big, it's mean, and it's running at them. He said he wished he had never looked back. They got to the car. They drove home in silence. They stopped in the driveway, and his dad just sat there, just shaking. And he finally looked over at him, and he said, that voice you heard was not mine. It was not me that called you. If I hadn't gotten to you when I did, I think I would have lost you.
Now,
and that's that story.
All joking aside, what I'm about to say, all joking aside, does the goat man tend to prey on little children?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I don't know.
Would this make this goat man, or any creature for that matter, some sort of maybe pedophile?
That's also a good question.
Because why would, other than being weak, why else would they prey on a child?
I think to me, in
easy food. I mean,
yes,
like drive-through at McDonald's.
Well, you think when you see predators in the wild, in Africa or even here, they're very quick to take off to take the young
take down the young ones, the weak ones.
Yeah, the younger animals because they're smaller and they're easier to catch.
But goats are herbivores. Why?
Goats are not. I mean, but for all intents and purposes,
I've never had goat. I've only eaten goat.
I love goat. Oh my god, it's great. They will eat anything. They're opportunistic eaters, and they will eat anything.
They'll eat meat too?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I know for a fact they will.
We're going to look that shit up right now.
I know for a fact that a goat will.
We're going to look it up right now. I'm going to look it up.
Okay.
Just hang with us, chat. We're going to look this shit up right now.
I had a few goats, and anybody who's had a goat knows a goat will eat anything.
Well, I do.
They should not eat meat or dairy products.
What the stupid assholes do.
But it says
anyways.
they should not. Yeah, we're being so quiet.
Yeah, because we're reading. Sorry.
Goats are good at avoiding foods they shouldn't eat, but they're not. That's a bunch of bunk.
Despite their reputation of being able to eat anything put before them, goats cannot eat everything. In addition, goats are herbivores. So I'm right in saying that.
Yes, you're right in saying
Meaning that they should not eat meat
on
and
paper.
dairy products. It's just like an engineer. Looks good on paper.
But they will. They will.
They will. While goats are generally good at avoiding foods they should not eat, their instincts are not infallible.
Mine, it was eating the siding off my house. It was actually eating the siding off of my house. So, anyway, but a goat man, I think we would take that and put, that's a whole different story altogether. Yeah. Especially if they, you know what? Maybe the goat man could take out the chupacabra.
Oh, definitely a pig man will eat you, Matt. Goat man just wants to spoon with you. I love it.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt a pig man.
A pig man, yeah, and that there actually is Legend of Pigman.
Yep.
Can you imagine that? That's disgusting. That just makes my skin crawl.
Yeah.
Pigman?
Pigman.
Ew.
Next show, Pigman.
I don't know about that.
I don't know either.
We're so excited about it.
Yeah.
We're so excited.
So I think, unless you have anything else, we can call it a night and go do some investigative research for the show. Everything we do, believe it or not, will be put on the show.
It is.
when we catch things.
Yeah, we're just getting out there. We haven't done a lot of cryptid investigating yet.
No.
Since everything kind of opened back up.
Since the Rona finally just
but
went and left Georgia.
And we're so fortunate to live where we do because we, one night we're out investigating the paranormal, and then the next night,
Fran.
You bring it. Come on,
Fran.
The next night we're hunting cryptids.
Yep.
And this is all within like a few minutes of the house.
Yeah.
So it's great. All right.
Well, all right, everybody. Thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a good night.
And just remember, absence of proof is not proof of absence.
And we will see you next week.
Good night.
Peace.